Elena Chen had always believed that the universe had a strange sense of humor, and sitting alone at a corner table in Maple Leaf Cafe, on what was supposed to be her first date, she was reminded of that belief in the most painfully familiar way. She had arrived 10 minutes early, smoothed her blue dress twice, and checked her phone for the third time before the message came through. "Sorry, can't make it. This isn't going to work out." Just like that. No explanation, no apology beyond those 4 hollow words. Just the quiet, crushing confirmation that Marcus had seen her profile mention deaf and decided she was too much trouble before she had even opened her mouth, or rather, before she had even raised her hands to speak. Elena set her phone face down on the table, folded her fingers together, and stared at the cup of chamomile tea she had ordered to calm her nerves, watching the tiny wisps of steam curl upward and vanish into nothing, the way hope often did. The cafe buzzed with the comfortable noise of Saturday afternoon. Clinking cups, warm laughter, the scrape of chairs, all of it a world. She could feel in vibration, but never fully enter the way others did. And in that moment, the distance between her and everyone else felt enormous. She had almost decided to leave, to go home and call her sister and laugh about it the way she always laughed about the things that actually hurt. When the glass door of the cafe burst open and the world outside rushed in wearing 4 small faces. 4 boys, identical in the most spectacular and chaotic way, tumbled through the entrance like a small, unstoppable storm, one dragging a backpack, one clutching a stuffed elephant, one already pointing at the pastry display with wide, reverent eyes, and one who had somehow already tipped a menu off. The host stand before even fully entering the building. Behind them, a tall man with dark circles under warm brown eyes and flour on his jacket. Sleeve was doing the quiet desperate, arithmetic of a parent trying to maintain dignity in public. His name, Elena would later learn, was Daniel Rowe, and he was a 36-year-old architect who had been raising quadruplets, alone for 3 years since his wife passed, and he had promised the boys a cafe treat for finishing a full week of kindergarten without a single incident. A promise he was already regretting as the boy with the stuffed elephant knocked over a sugar dispenser. Daniel herded them toward the only open table, which happened to be directly beside Elena's, and as he sat down and looked up to mouth an apologetic sorry to her, he noticed her watching his boys with an expression that was not irritation but something softer, something that looked almost like delight. Elena had grown up with a younger brother who had the same bottomless energy, and she recognized it not as chaos but as joy in its purest unfiltered form. The boy with the stuffed elephant, whose name was Leo, had already turned in his chair and was staring at Elena with the fearless curiosity only a 5-year-old can deploy without embarrassment. He waved. Elena waved back. Then Leo did something that made Daniel freeze. He raised both hands and slowly, carefully, formed the letters H-I in sign language, a skill he had apparently learned from a library book about communicating with everyone, a book he had insisted on checking out 3 times. Elena's breath caught. She signed back, "Hello, what's your name?" And Leo erupted in silent, jumping celebration before signing back the letters. Elio, with great concentration. The other 3 boys, whose names were Noah, Sam, and Eli, immediately demanded to know what was happening. And within 60 seconds, all 4 of them were leaning across the table toward Elena while Daniel looked on with an expression somewhere between mortified and moved. Elena began teaching them simple signs. "Water, cake, please." "Thank you." And the boys absorbed them with the same intensity they gave everything, which was total and absolute. Daniel watched his sons' faces light up with the specific joy of learning something that felt like a secret language. And he looked at the woman who was giving them that gift so freely and patiently, and he felt something shift quietly in his chest. He leaned toward her and said slowly, knowing she was reading his lips, "I'm so sorry if they're bothering you." Elena shook her head and signed, and then wrote on her phone screen so he could read, "They just made this the best afternoon I've had in months." Daniel smiled, a real one that reached all the way up. and he asked if she might want to join them for cake. And Elena looked at 4 small boys signing please, with varying levels of accuracy and a sincerity that could have melted stone. And she thought that the universe did indeed have a strange sense of humor, but maybe sometimes it was the kind that made you believe in things again. If this story warmed your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner Stories. Because kindness is always worth passing on.